What's going on? This is the Trotters Report. Thank you guys for tuning in. And today I'll be having a little story about, black on black crime and segregation and how those two things ties together. Trust me, I'm always gonna bring the raw, unfiltered news to you live. And we're here, it will always be politically incorrect because I'm gonna keep it real on my channel, period. And so I'm gonna play a clip, and I'll discuss a few things after the clip. Check it out.
Tonight, 11 Alive wants to shine the spotlight on race in America and the words that we use, Aisha.
So when protesters take the streets demanding police reform, some pivot the conversation to black on black crime. But does the phrase unfairly perpetuate racism? Here's Reveal investigator Andy Parati.
When a black man dies at the hands of law enforcement, outrage on the street often follows, but so does another narrative.
93% of blacks in America are killed by other blacks.
Why is there not the outrage when there's black on black violence?
Black on black crime.
That was just Chicago. When that was shown, that little news clipping. Chicago is like one of the worst states for black on black crime. But yet they wanna, sit up here and protest and uproar when a white cop kills a black dude. Come on, man. To me, it's all propaganda. You know what I'm saying? It's all BS. For real talk. So, I'm gonna keep it rolling. And I'll be commenting, I'll stop it, I'll comment and stuff like that because of YouTube's rules and regulations. I don't want no copyright issues or no infringement issues. So let's check it out.
A catchphrase some believe conservatives use to distract from police brutality.
And it makes so bad, it's black on black crime.
A phrase also recently used by Dougherty County Coroner Michael Fowler after a rise in homicides near Albany this past May.
Nobody's saying anything. Like it's just something they pushing up under the rug.
Not so, says Clifton Crowley. He says black communities are talking about it. The media just isn't paying attention. Crowley is the community chair for the Atlanta NAACP.
There's always been a deep level of concern for violence and poverty and crime within our community.
The licensed social worker points to a long list of local and national organizations focused on reducing violence in black communities, including Street Groomers, 100 Black Men of Atlanta, and former President Barack Obama's My Brother's Keepers initiative.
You have to look beyond the race.
Rodney Bryant is Atlanta's interim police chief. He doesn't dispute violence in black communities is a problem. In Atlanta, 81% of victims to violent crimes were black in 2018. Nearly 90% of people arrested for those crimes were black.
Now, why ain't nobody talking about that? Why ain't there no uproar about that? Okay? Now, yes, they're saying that with any race, you have that basically the race, if it's homicide or if it's any type of crime, it's perpetuated by the same race. Okay. That right there, you know what I'm saying, kind of kills that false narrative that these people try to bring and just say like, we're just, targeted by white people and we're targeted by white cops and those things like that because the number shows. Okay? But what sickens me is that these numbers right here, there's no protesters about those numbers. There's no uproar about those numbers. There's no uproar about black on black crime, black on black homicide. You know what I'm saying? Which you have another black man taking the life of another black man, and that black man becomes arrested. So he goes to prison for the rest of his life. So it's two black families that was destroyed. And you got to think about the kids and the aunties and the grandmothers and the mothers and all the trickle down effects. The culture, how that affect people. How does that affect the generations coming up after that? Where's our leaders about that? Why Why not our leaders speaking about these type of issues instead of keep crying about the same police brutality situations? And I'm gonna tell you why after we get done with this clip.
Too. But Bryant argues violence is often a side effect of generational racism, which has created a health, wealth, and education gap.
I think it does do the black community a disservice when you say it's a black on black crime, because now you're saying it's just a black problem.
According to the Bureau of Justice statistics, the majority of violent crime...
It is a black problem. What was better said was when Malcolm X said that quit expecting a white man to come in and fix a black man's problem. I mean, what else can we do? What else can we do? Do we need that much government intervention? Is you saying that we cannot solve our own issues as colored folks? It's a black problem. Because if little Pookie come out his crib, you know what I'm saying, and little Ron from the block shoots him, how is there anybody else problem except two black? You know, you see where I'm getting at. I mean, we have these politically correct people, man, and the only thing they do is just make it harder. They just make it difficult. Simplify these things, man. Yes, it is a black on black problem. It's a black problem. Now you have other variables, as you should call it. You have other barriers. Maybe you can say the wealth gap, or you can say poverty, or you can say economic, whatever you can say. There's poor whites, there's poor blacks. There's white crime, there's black crime. You know what I'm saying? White people experience the same economic burden as blacks. So when you say that all white people got money and all black people, and so basically you're saying all whites got money and all blacks is poor. And to me, that's racist. Because a lot of black people got money, a lot of white people got money. But the underlying issue of this is culture.
Happens within the same race. A 2018 national survey found offenders were within the same race as the victim 70% of the time for blacks, 62% for whites. Here again is the Dougherty County coroner speaking with 11 Alive's Faith Abube.
Have you ever used the term white on white crime or Hispanic on Hispanic crime?
No, if I see it, I see it. I just call a spade a spade.
For black people who use that term, I want you to think about the systematic racism that has occurred in this country and the effects of taking out 3 million black faces, incarcerating them, and releasing them back into the community.
Now look, America is the leading country in mass incarceration. All right, maybe that needs some reform. So I agree with him partially on that. Yeah, maybe America do need some reform as far as the prison system goes. I'm not a big supporter of the prison system, but I understand it's I understand, how can I say it? It's necessity. You know what I'm saying? It's necessary. It may not be a benefit for every black man and black sister, but it is a necessity. It's something that needs to be there because you have whites, blacks, Mexicans, Asians. You have a lot of people who want to come here and they want to. If you get home from work and you walk into your house and you find that your wife was raped, throat was cut, you was robbed. What you gonna think? Is you and they catch the guy and they say, "Hey, do you want this guy to go free, or do you want him to be in prison?" What you gonna say? Let's keep it real. You gonna say, "Nah, I want that brother to be free because we got 3 million black men that was arrested. Yeah, I don't want to hear all that, man. Okay, some of those guys deserve to be in prison. Let's keep it real. Some people deserve to be in prison, especially those who rape children, who molest, and just are just barbaric individuals. They deserve to be in prison. Some don't. A lot of them don't. So they keep trying to use this same propaganda victimhood, scenario, man. And we just have to start seeing through this, man, and getting down to the real issue at hand. And the real issue at hand is because of the culture. Nobody speaks about the culture. Let's keep it rolling.
Professor Brown says black communities are typically over-policed, which increases the number of blacks arrested, even when departments have a high number of black officers. APD Interim Police Chief Rodney Bryan says Atlanta changed its response strategy years ago to focus on directing responses based on call volume and population. Tune in next Wednesday, August 26th at 9 p.m. for an 11 Alive special.
All right. I partially agree with that. I partially don't. If you have a area where there's lots of crime, okay, you have people shooting all in the street, shooting, you sleep, you hear gunshots, somebody breaking in houses and stuff like that. We have an app down here that's called Citizens. Okay, I'm a part of that app, and that app tells you, crimes that's happening in your area. If you familiar about that app, then you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so you say that they say most black communities are over policed because a lot of black communities is just nonsense going on in those communities, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like a business. If I'm selling cookies, and I know over here in this black communities, there's a lot of kids who like to buy cookies, I'm going to be in that community so I can make the most money. Okay? That's like marketing. You know what I'm saying? People do that every day, all day. You go to school for marketing. So what's the difference if I say, okay, hey, in this area, they don't like Joe Biden, so I'm going to sell anti-Joe Biden shirts in this area. You wouldn't sell anti-Joe Biden shirts in an area that loves Joe Biden because you're not going to make any money. Okay, so police are policing the neighborhoods that have the most crime, regardless if it's black or white. Let's just keep it real. Now, this ties into segregation. Okay, because from the 1900s, I'm just breaking it down. I ain't gonna go into the 1800s, all that's too far. But from the 1900s to the 1950s, you had the least amount of crime in history, except the colonial area. You know what I'm saying? Era, my bad. The colonial era. Where we all know about that. And there's a lot of crime that went on then, but we ain't talking about that. We talking about the 1900s to the 1950s, where it was the least amount of crime almost on record. And then you have the most marriages that was at a peak, black, white, Asian, whatever. You know what I'm saying? People were getting married. People was in love. People was doing the right thing. It was lawless. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was not lawless. It was lawful. You know what I'm saying? People were going to relocating from the streets and the ghettos to the suburbs, and those were segregated. You had good areas that was black in segregation. Nobody talks about that. They want you to think that every black community was a ghetto, and it wasn't. Yet it was segregated. You know what I'm saying? We had our own businesses. We had our own schools. You familiar with the Black Wall Street? You know what I'm saying? Where 80-90% of black people thrived. And it wasn't a thing that was black on black murder. It wasn't even invented yet, because it wasn't nothing like that like today. Ever since the desegregation, a lot of the crimes picked up. A lot of black on black murder picked up. Drugs, sex, lawlessness, corrupt morals just ran rapid. Okay, which created a corrupt culture. And these are the things that we're faced with today as a country. It's a corrupt culture. Culture can be stronger than religion. Culture can be stronger than government. Okay? Because culture can dictate the way a group of people think, feel, how they act. And if you mix that with government, right? These are the people who makes the laws and, writes the legislations and things like that. For example, we have gay marriage. If we go back into the 50s, that would have never been accepted. But because the culture has changed, that now it's more acceptable for gays to be married. Okay? Which I definitely strongly abhor that. You know what I'm saying? But that's another video. So drop a comment, hit the subscribe button. Stay tuned to me. I always write you back. If you write some, regardless of what you write, I will always comment and respond to you. When you write something, it comes to my email, so I get it very fast, and I will, respond back to you. Just let me know how you think about this. You know what I'm saying? Let me know. We have many leaders. NAACP, which is one of the oldest black movement, and it stands for National Association of Advancement for colored people. But we're not advancing. They're not speaking about these things, these issues, but it's always an uproar when it's, a white cop on a black man. So let me know how you feel about this, man. I totally, disagree with the propaganda they're trying to, push. I just wanted to put this out here and, see if I can get any feedback for you. And, I'm always going to keep it live. I'm going to keep it real every time I come on my channel. And, I'm going to always give you some unbiased news and a report. This is the Trotters Report. Thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the like button. And drop a comment. I will always respond back to you. Stay tuned. God bless you. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. Wherever you are in the world. Peace.